Yeah, that's right. Collin P from the DMV. Mr. Fingaz. This week in UGA football. Get ready, baby. Let's go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is Monday, December 30th. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are all of you up there in the upper deck doing? How are you guys down in the bottom doing? Those of y'all on the side of the stage that can't see, should have just bought your tickets earlier, even though it's a free show. So if you bought tickets, joke's on you. Anyways, we appreciate you joining us this evening. Why? Because it is another episode of This Week in UGA Football. I am host numero uno, only numero uno, not because I'm the best, but just because I'm introducing myself first. Coming to you live from the 405 with a win. Comes whipping down the plane from Zagnip Central. And that guy over there, that guy right there, the homie, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I have just been placed in charge of garbage. Do you have any that requires disposal? How you doing, my guy? Collin P from the DMV.
Man, I am doing absolutely great, man. It's you know, it was almost here. It felt like a lifetime waiting, but it's almost here.
What's almost here, Collin? What's almost here?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it secret. Keep it like, you know, New Year's Day is only gonna be, you know, it's the start of 2025. But there's a couple important games, but there's one circled on my calendar. I don't know about yours.
Oh, you mean the Puppy Bowl?
Yeah, Puppy Bowl. Yeah. Boy, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about them dogs, dude. I'm talking about them dogs.
Yes, sir. How about them dogs? Yes, indeedy. So we got a big game coming up, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves here. We got some stuff we're going to talk about today. And guess what? We brought some folks along that are going to help us talk about it. Oh, man, you know what? I didn't even ask you, how was your Christmas?
Oh, my Christmas was good, man. I actually, you know, I had to work on Christmas, but I did have the B man for Christmas morning, so got to celebrate, you know, kind of enjoy that with him, and then he went to the mama's afternoon. But yeah, and my family came up, you know, and it was just us four, and it was nice. You know, it was really good. Mom's brought she brought the heat like she normally does. I gained about 2 or 3 or 4 pounds with the good Southern cooking, but.
Man,
That was good.
I still got to get a hold of some of Mom's cooking. I will say this: your mom, I don't know what she told you, but her and Pops really seem to enjoy the Big Biscuit, the spot we hit up here in Oklahoma City. By the way, if you're ever here, you need to drop by the Big Biscuit. It's right off the corner of Danforth and Santa Fe Avenue, right up in Edmond, Oklahoma, right across the street, cat a corner from one of the biggest super Walmarts I have ever seen in my entire life. No plugs intended for either one of them because they're not paying either one of us one thin mint for mentioning them. Oops, wrong sound effect. There we go. But anyway, yeah. And when I say the Big Biscuit, these folks bring you. If you remember CB4 when they had the Big Biscuits, they bring you like these giant biscuits and giant pancakes and giant waffles. It's like you think you go get a waffle and some sausage and stuff like that, and then you like, I can't even eat a quarter of this waffle. I'm just gonna have to take the rest of this home to my family. This will feed us through the entire cold winter.
Anyway, but yeah, there's a place down in Waycross that was called Jerry J's. Same thing. I'm talking biscuits, buttermilk biscuits, like, you know, that big around, you know, huge. And the meat was about, you got a sausage biscuit or a chicken biscuit or whatever. I think they even had a pork chop biscuit, but I mean, they were just, you know, they were huge.
Jerry J's, do they have a glory hole special for the owners that like to be on the radio?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Wait
I know
for
what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
it.
106.7, cool FM.
Okay, pay me no mind. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Anyway, you know that the Dogs are playing the Irish, and they're playing this coming Wednesday night. The game is on at 8:45 Eastern,
Yeah.
7:40. Oh, you know what? Then that's good for me because it's 7:45 here, which means it won't be that late. But of course, they're gonna stretch it out to midnight because that's ESPN for you. But anyway, I digress. We are looking forward to this. The Dogs having one of the most interesting, successful seasons that I have seen them have in the entirety of the time that I have been watching them as a fan. Where sometimes they look like world beaters, and sometimes they couldn't tie their own shoes if they if they were made with Velcro. So, but they got there, and that's what's important, and that's what counts. But we done a whole lot of talking, my friend. We got some folks behind the curtain we want to bring on that are going to come and talk with us about the game, and they're going to be talking with us throughout the show. So first of all, because ladies first, no disrespect intended to our other guests as well, but ladies first. Those of you that are familiar with the Let's Talk Football family of podcasts are familiar with a Tuesday night show that you may know by the name of Let's Talk Football the Roundtable. I am one fourth of the crew of hosts, along with my buddy Nicholas Rosario, Mr. I Want to Smoke, and Miss Diversity Delilah Crespo. Shouts out to both of them. And this young lady, oh man, you want to talk about bring some fire? You thought Nick brings the smoke. This lady definitely brings the smoke, and she's also co-host of a show called The Mile High Minute. Definitely need to check them out, especially if you're a Denver Bronco fan. The one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tina Winter. Tina,
Hi, everyone. Thanks for letting me come on here and essentially just be the funny one.
Oh, bang, bang.
yeah,
Oh,
and,
make fun of the other guy because
it's a
his
good
team
thing.
lost to NIU.
Already.
Did you
Oh,
hear that?
yeah. I'm going to start. I'm going to start from the
I
beginning.
didn't even know I was watching the Kevin Hart special. Pew pew, everybody going. Pew
Shots
pew, shots
fired.
fired, shots fired. Okay, well that seems like an appropriate time to bring on our next guest. Oh, coming to us all the way from Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your friend and mine, and our resident Irish fan. I always have a hard time because I have to point that way. There we go, Mr. Eric Kelly. How are you doing, Eric? Thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh, delightful. We got, I thought this was going to be 2-on-1, but let's go 3-on-1, even more fun.
I think I seen a video based on that on the internet somewhere. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, no. Happy to be here. So I know the allegiances up top, but if I'm going to take shots, can I get the allegiances that you hold? Just, who are your teams?
NIU, of course. I'm a Husky, an alumni. And I'm also a Denver Bronco fan.
All right.
With some Chicago Cubs thrown in there. An ex-Bear fan who actually learned their team is horrible and jumped ship. Been there for 20 years now. So the Chicago part is the Cubs thing, so which you can't see. But
hey, so Tina, I went to high school with Champ Bailey. So that's where I'm from.
Nice.
I know he is royalty in Denver. Was royalty in Washington, but they shipped him out your way.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, I
got the best end of that deal.
I had the very distinct pleasure of watching one Mr. Shannon Sharp as he ran up and down the field at Theodore Wright Stadium at Savannah State University, where I also matriculated. And watching him, I just will say, what you see is exactly who he is. That is exactly who he is. That is not an act. He's sitting there playing pool. Come on, shoot that A ball in the corner. You know you're gonna miss. Told you was gonna miss. Shay don't play. Hey girl, where you going? Come in. Look at with all your Sigma Gamma stuff on. We gonna do something 4-2 something. Let's go. Shay been saying that a long time. I finally get paid for it now. Anyway, so yeah, we like to have a lot of fun all the way around. But ladies and gentlemen, you know what's going on. It's bowl season, the CFP. Depending on what team you are a fan of, you are either very happy or very upset. Especially if you're an Alabama fan. I said that out loud. I gotta something stuck in my throat. I said that. My doctor told me I was supposed to take the Robitussin 4 times. I only took it 3. Yeah. The CFP, we know the matchups. We've already had the first round. Ohio State obliterating Tennessee. To move on to face off against Oregon. And that game is in the Rose Bowl at 5 p.m. on New Year's Day, the granddaddy of them all. Clemson being Clemson, I guess the power of prayer was not enough for old Dabo. Texas took care of them in short order to advance to face Arizona State, led by one amazing running back, Mr. Cam Scatterbo. Scatterbo, depending on how you read it, your level of literacy. Mirror-headed lamb. And then of course SMU, the game that most people call into question, SMU versus Penn State. I'm going to say something real quick. I said this a couple of weeks ago. The qualifications to get into the CFP, the athletic directors of what the then Power 5 and the Group of 5 and the athletic director at Notre Dame sat down and said, this is what you have to do to get into the CFP. If you met those qualifications, you deserved to be there. How you performed is an entirely different animal. All I have to say about that. Because if you feel that SMU did not deserve to be in the playoff, then the 15-1 Patriots who lost to the New York Giants by your same metric did not deserve to be in the Super Bowl. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I don't want to be a dead horse, but the same thing with FSU. I mean, what more can you do? I mean, like you did all this ask. They got to figure out a way to figure that out. Straight schedule, whatever it is.
I think you're right in the sense that it's, if we're going to be mad at people, then those are the people to be mad at. It's not your committee members. They are not the ones who define these rules. And to your point, the people who have the power, the conference commissioners, the ADs of schools who lose to NIU but are still very powerful somehow, they're the ones who dictated these terms. So if it's going to get fixed, those are the people that we should be yelling at. But
do you think that there's conversation now about having a college or a CFP commissioner? I mean, do you think that would solve like an NFL, like Roger Goodell, like somebody like that for college? I mean, there's talk about that. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they're not going to be in charge. You'll have a commissioner, but the people who are going to be in charge are going to be the university presidents, the athletic directors.
Because they've got the money. They will be the ones that will appoint their leader, much like the NFL. Roger Goodell runs squat.
But I mean, what's the point of playing the games? That goes back to the question of why do you play the games? I mean, like if you're already I guess picking the teams to go to the playoff, like if you win all your games, win your conference, and still you're not one of those one good teams.
So you're not wrong, but why did Greg Sankey agree to that? He agreed to it. So I'm with you. No. It's not the best 12 teams at the end of the day. But,
right. Because
that's what they agreed to.
Yeah, but because you have the people that rank the teams in the polls, and they determine who the top 25 teams in the country were. And that poll is a little bit more of a realistic. You get what I'm getting at. And so as we saw, the top 12 teams in that poll did not automatically roll over into the CFP because there were teams that were promised automatic bids if they won their conference. Looking at you, Clemson. I'm gonna pick on Dabo. I love picking on Dabo because you ask Dabo, hey Dabo, you look like your team is doing very well there, beating the other team 73-0 in the first quarter. What do you attribute everything. It's your team's success too. But you know, I love Jesus and I love the Lord, and the Lord has told me that as long as I pray to Him, He will never leave me, nor shall He forsake me. And we held hands in that locker room, and we said a prayer for us to have the strength of David when he threw that rock at that big old feller that came over from Gath. And I'd be doggone if it ain't working. Like nothing about you
Yeah,
know, he'll get to
yeah.
that eventually. It's like, oh yeah, and my coaching staff is pretty good too. So anyway,
But I mean, like the 12 team, it was supposed to kind of, I don't know about alleviate, but like I understand they're trying to get away from what Georgia did at TCU and whatever, just to get rid of the blowouts. Like they want the best games, but how do you do that? You know what I
Blowouts
mean?
there's no way to predict that, man.
Exactly.
None.
blowouts have happened every year.
Yeah,
So
it's. I mean, if you want to go back to BCS, you want to go back to when it was just a 4-team CFP. There's been a
Yeah.
blowout in every single one of those as well. So
You know what I think would be funny though? I think they should take. I mean, regardless of strength of schedule, I think they would take the top 12 teams. Like, I would take top 12 teams, bar none, and just see what happens. Just see what happens.
into that debate of how do you figure out who the top 12 teams are?
yeah, because
Well,
all the
AP or either the whatever. Take the top the last AP.
because if you look at it, no matter what way you set it up, somebody's going to be yelling about
Of
it
course.
being unfair. But
Yeah.
the thing, if you're paying attention, the only people yelling at it being unfair are the people the fans whose teams were omitted.
Right.
So there were teams in the top 12 that did not make the playoff, and their fans were the ones that were hollering the most, even though they knew the conference champions were going to get automatic bids. If you make it the top 12 teams in the nation, then there's going to be some conference champion over here, a la FSU last year, who's going to be
Right.
going, well, we went 13-0 and won our conference, but
Right. But you didn't have a quarterback.
because of strength of schedule and we didn't really play anybody, Buck Tussle State got in and we didn't get in. That's a fictitious school that we made up, by the way. We've been telling that joke for about 4 years and just found out 2 months ago that Buck Tussle is an actual town in Oklahoma, about somewhere northwest of here. So I have made it my life's mission that if I win a 9-figure lottery sum, that we're going to start Buck Tussle State Junior College. Give some of these kids an opportunity to get their 2 years in before they go play for 5 more years and to B level. Anyway, we're getting that we don't want to get to Tina. You know what? What say you, dear?
Yeah, what do you think, Tina?
I mean, my division is barely in the college Pro Bowl or all of it, so I don't pay attention a lot to it. But I think it's interesting. NIU is signed an agreement. They're going to be heading to the Mountain West. Probably about the same time, because in 2 years, I guess Boise and Fresno State and those guys are leaving the Mountain West to go to the Pac-12. So I think there's going to be a little switcheroo going on. So
yeah, the Pac-12.
So
what a story, man!
What?
I said
there's
the
life in
Pac-12.
the Pac-12.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what a story, man. They're hanging on harder than Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger trying to save that rabbit. Or that
Because there's a
raccoon or
lot of
whatever.
NIL money. There's a lot of NIL money involved. And that's why NIU is going over to the Mountain West. And Nick said they used to play in the West all the time. It was after my time, because when I was at NIU, our football team was known more for like breaks in between drinks. So, after I left, that they finally got their football program
Yeah,
going.
we had a football program. Our homecoming was basketball, so
Yeah, and we were I was at school for, and we usually traditionally always made the NIT, so we made the lower level. We made it one year. God, you guys talked about blowouts. We got blown out in the first game of March Madness. So it's just, NIU is not known for that. They're known for accountants and nurses. So and farm boys going to school there.
there you go.
Yeah.
It always made for an interesting mix because it's DeKalb, Illinois. So it's in the middle of farm country. Like there is cornfields everywhere. and then you get all the kids from the suburbs and in the city to go out to farm country.
Oh wow.
So, and then you have all the kids, the football players and the basketball players.
Kind of like me moving into Northern Virginia from down south Georgia. It was like shock, culture shock.
Hello.
This is the city.
Same. Although I mean, Savannah is significantly bigger than your hometown, but still, same thing. It's like, wow, there's so many people, and they just walking around ignoring each other. Nobody said, "Hey, how you doing? Howdy." None of that. We didn't say howdy in Savannah, just for record. Just letting you know that no, I did not. Don't even start with me.
Don't lie.
Only when we were playing Cowboys. Oh man, so we're gonna get into some of these bowl games here, and then we'll take a short break. I definitely want. This is not one of the major games that was in the bowl schedule, but I want to give it a shout out just because I have love for them. The Dukes of James Madison handle business against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers with a very dominant second half performance, 20 point breakout during the second half to win that game 27-17. Man, Billy Atkins, I mean, he didn't really have the quarterback. Billy Atkins did not really have a very dominant performance by himself, but the offense just came together to shut everything down. I mean, Western Kentucky's quarterback, Caden Veltkamp, threw for 302 yards and 2 touchdowns in a loss. But James Madison made it happen. For those of you that are not familiar with JMU has been somewhat of a little bit of a powerhouse team here. And at the aren't they FB? Wait a minute, they're FBS now, right?
Yeah, they're up top. They're here.
Yeah, they're up on the top end, but they were knocking heads all across FCS and winning championship after championship. So now they have moved up to the big leagues and finished with a 9-4 record in the Boca Raton Bowl. But we're here to talk about the SEC and Georgia specifically. So we're going to get into this first bowl game here, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. That is way too much to say unless your name is Busta Rhymes, Twista, or Eminem. But the Florida Gators, who were left on the floor for dead 6 weeks ago, managed to close out their season, not only become bowl eligible, but close out their season with a bowl win in convincing fashion against the Tulane Green Wave, but still. 6 weeks ago, Florida could not have beaten Tulane. Gators finished 8-5. We know Sunbelt Billy got signed to, they're going to bring him back next year and see what he can do. We're gonna go to you, Eric. What are your thoughts and things about how this game shook out?
I think at the end of the day, Florida coming out on top is just remarkable, considering the fact that I don't think any of us thought Napier was going to make it to week 10, let alone to next year. But getting to a bowl game, winning a bowl game, that's huge for him. I mean, keeping those kids in the fold, practicing for 15 more practices, that's a lot of good momentum moving forward. And I don't care if it's Tulane or what was it, Buck Hustle State, Buck
Tussle.
Buck Tussle. No disrespect, Buck Tussle, Oklahoma. It doesn't matter who it was. That's a giant victory for their program, and you got to take pride in those ones too.
Agreed. I do think they could use a little. I mean, 305 yards passing for DJ Lagway. He did throw 2 interceptions, but that is a huge offensive output from a team that was regularly getting mollywopped is the term that we like to use, and it has been thrown about quite a bit since we started using it and starting to hear. You know how you buy a car and then all of a sudden you see a lot of other people drive the same car? Ever since we used mollywop and then got called out for it, and then you started hearing it back and forth. Now I'm hearing it everywhere. They were getting run up in every week. So for them to come back and have to finish strong like that, that is absolutely huge. Congratulations. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but congratulations to the Florida Gators for them, based on the last 3 years with their coach, a successful season. And then, of course, we talked about the Clemson Tigers. Now, this was a CFP first round. Klubnik did not have a bad performance. 336 yards on 43 attempts, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not much of a rushing attack. TJ Moore with 116 yards on 9 receptions and a touchdown. But Texas just managed to put it all together. I know it didn't look that way when they played against Georgia in the SEC championship, but Texas does have a very good defense, and they were outside of Klubnik's performance. They really were able to shut down the rush game. And so, of course, Texas reigns supreme, moves on to the next round of the playoffs. 12-2 so far with 7-1 at home. Clemson finishing their season at 10-4. Excuse me. Next up, another college football matchup. Big Game James finally showed up. Penn State and SMU, 38-10. I know that's not an SEC game, but we're running through some of these games because everybody's gonna wind up coming together at some point. Whether you blanching onions over here or you're dicing green peppers over here, it's all got to come together to go in the casserole. Yeah, along with the gumbo. Yeah, got to put some stuff in that gumbo. The SMU Mustangs had a very good season and finishing 11-3, but Penn State advances. So we're gonna move on past that one there. Tennessee, what is you doing? Tennessee, I don't know. I think this is probably. Can we agree here that this was probably the biggest letdown of the first round of the playoffs? No,
I would say the biggest letdown, but I mean, I thought that Tennessee was going to do more than they did. I didn't think they were going to roll over like they did. It was surprising to me.
I don't think this Tennessee was the same Tennessee of last year or the year before.
I agree.
And I thought that before the playoffs. And this Ohio State team, when they adopt their identity of who they actually are, they're a pretty nasty team.
You had mentioned that since they were I guess chip on their shoulder for Michigan and that kind of stuff, they had a guy to grind. Do you think that was what it was? I mean, Ohio State's Ohio State, but
that definitely played a role. But Ohio State, when they play Michigan, they tried to play a game that wasn't their game. They tried to go play this smash mouth, let's run the ball down your throat, when that's not who Ohio State is. So I don't know. Maybe the pride for Ryan Day kind of got in the way that he had to show Michigan he could beat them a certain way. But that Ohio State team is as talented as anybody out there, if not more.
Yeah.
You dance with the one. You dance with the one that got you to the dance.
Yeah.
If your strength is X, you go with X. Not, if you're playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out and your killer combo is X, Y, up, down, down, B1, B1.
That's right.
Go with that combo. Don't try and show off something new until you've mastered it. And he fell back into what works for the program. And it showed. Travion Henderson with 80 yards rushing. Will Howard, 311 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 pickle, but the defense completely just I am a Liava. We Collin and I follow a guy that likes to call him "I'ma leave you," because he was being courted by several other schools with bigger NIL purses, so he called him "I'ma leave you" for the longest time. But he only threw for 104 yards.
Yep.
And I think up to the end of the first half, only had 40, not even 50 yards passing. That's not a good look.
Right.
That's not a good look at all. So Tennessee falls to the Ohio State Buckeyes, who, as we mentioned before, advance to face the Oregon Ducks in a rematch, which we think will be one for the ages in the Rose Bowl. Let's see what else we got here. Alabama tomorrow takes on Michigan at 11 o'clock during the day. Who does that? Everybody's not off on Tuesday. I'm gonna have to listen to. I'm gonna be at my desk with the earbud in. Penny, for your thoughts, Tina.
I think they're just used to everybody having New Year's Eve off. These schedules are from 20, 30 years ago, and they're still running with the same time and everything. I don't know. Is Alabama bad?
Do you have a dog in the fight? Do you like Michigan or Alabama? Which one do you?
Who are they playing again?
Alabama's facing off against Michigan. Michigan has not.
Geez. Can I have the stadium blow up like we're in the middle of a Batman movie?
Oh, really?
I don't like
Tell
either one of them.
the people who you are and who has the power to defuse the bomb.
I don't like Alabama because is Saban still there? Or who's the guy who's still at Alabama?
Saban retired after last year. He's now ESPN analyst.
All right, so I'm not wrong that it's Saban is there. And then as a kid growing up in the 80s, all I saw was Notre Dame and Michigan on football every freaking weekend playing football. So, oh, good.
Tell us how you really feel, Tina.
Why don't I just throw a die? Throw a quarter in the air, heads or tails.
Eric, I'm beginning to suspect that Tina feels a certain kind of way about the Irish.
Yeah.
We already discussed this year on the football show, on the college show.
I know. No, Tina, I'm winding you up to let you go.
Oh yeah, go for it.
No.
Let's get this out of the way real quick.
As long as we're not doing any Hail Jesuses or Hail Mary, whatever it is they do in Alabama.
Well,
I'm sorry, not Alabama. Notre Dame.
We'll be. I mean, that's part of the segment later, isn't it? That was part of what I agreed to when I decided to come on to this.
But hey, all right. So what about it, Tina? Let me ask you. So what about growing up with Notre Dame? Like, I mean, you were always in IU. I mean, like, what was the?
I was always in Central Illinois, so when it came to like Sunday football, it was always Notre Dame and Michigan were the games we saw. That was it. We didn't see a lot of anything else because there was only 3 channels until we all got cable and started seeing everything else. So every Saturday, it was usually Michigan and Notre Dame all the time. Gotcha. Nothing else.
Local coverage, regional action.
Yeah, and a lot of teenage boys walking around in Notre Dame and Michigan jerseys and sweatshirts and starter jackets that didn't know anything about football. They just like Michigan because of the coach, or they like because their dad is a Michigan fan or something like that. That always just kind of irritated me.
Oh, you mean like all the old Patriot fans that are now walking around in Kansas City Chiefs gear?
Yeah.
I was like, Dallas fans.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
I was like,
one of my favorite things in a bar is if someone tells me they're a Patriots fan, I go, "Who's the quarterback before Tom Brady?"
Let's hope.
Well,
you can't tell me who it was before Tom Brady. We're not going to discuss this.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that have been alive for 23 years that there was no.
That's all they know. I understand that, but there was a girl I worked with. She was a huge Patriots fan. She was a Patriots fan and she was an Ohio State fan. I didn't quite get that, but I guess her dad was from New England. So that's how, but she was raised with it. She understood the history of the Patriots. She understood what was going on. So I could get that. If you became a Patriots fan because of Tom Brady and only Tom Brady, and not because your dad raised you as a Patriots fan from when you were a little kid, that's a different story as far as I'm concerned. That's the more fair.
You can just like the jerseys.
But at least own that. Like,
yeah,
I'm a Georgia boy, and my basketball squad is the Spurs.
Yeah.
But prior to me getting into the Spurs, I just kind of follow players. They're like, "Why you like the Bulls?" Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan thing. Why do you like the Lakers? Magic Johnson. I'm watching Magic Johnson play. Like, I didn't have a squad. It was only once I was stationed in San Antonio and got to go to games every week and watch the games and learn about the history of the team. And they came on post with the trophy when they won their first championship with Coach Pop. I was like, you know what? I'm digging this squad, and that's still my squad to this day. You know, or another instance where my dad was a Colts fan. Now, that might not make any sense to go, I thought you were from Georgia. Well, remember, Georgia did not have a professional sports franchise until 1966. So my dad was a Colts fan.
And that's kind of like us in TBS, Fingers. You know, every afternoon as a kid, the Braves would be playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'd always be playing TBS because Turner owned the channel, Turner, TNT, and TBS. I mean, no matter where it was national.
You want to talk about? He actually beat Jerry Jones to the punch, I think, with the marketing of teams, because he bought a network He owned the baseball team. He said every baseball game for my team will be on this network and this nationally broadcast network. So I thought it was genius.
I mean, that's UGN with the Cubs. Like, I grew up every summer, 180 games, with my butt stuck to a plastic seat cover, watching the Cubs every year because they showed every single game, and WGN was also free. You had to have an antenna to do it, but it was free. So that's how I just grew up with that stuff. So, and then of course football in the Midwest, it's the Bears and the NFC North. Yeah. So until I decided to jump ship, or I should say jumped on the bandwagon and went somewhere else. So
yeah. Well, we're gonna run through the rest of these really quickly. I wanted to kind of go over basically what I was leading up to was just kind of going over the SEC record in bowl games. We had Florida with Tulane. We talked about that. Texas and Clemson, Tennessee, Ohio State. We also had an Oklahoma who was a very pitiable season this year until all of a sudden they rose up like David and punched Goliath in the teeth and beat Alabama, but then turned around and lost to Navy on a play that made no sense to me. Kicked the extra point and try and win it in overtime. You had the momentum. Got stuffed on a 2-point conversion play, loses to Navy in the Armed Forces Bowl. Vanderbilt wins. Look, I gotta get the horn for this one. I gotta get the horn for this one here. I gotta get the horn for this one. Vanderbilt Birmingham Bowl 35-27 over Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, who also had a very good season for Georgia Tech, completely overwhelmed by Vanderbilt in the last portion of that game. Arkansas shows up, wallops Texas Tech. A&M loses to USC. Don't ask. Well, never mind. We already know what's going on. Texas A&M. Y'all, hey, look, Johnny Manziel's not coming back. Get it together. Missouri digs one out against Iowa. I did that game because I thought Missouri was going to lose. Alabama plays Michigan tomorrow. South Carolina against Illinois on Tuesday as well. LSU taking on Baylor. Wow, there's a whole bunch of games on while I'm at work.
Yes, sir.
Texas is moving on to play, as we mentioned, number 12, Arizona State. Georgia playing Notre Dame tomorrow night. Ole Miss plays Duke in the Gator Bowl on Thursday after the quarterfinals of the CFP. So far, the SEC has a record of 5-3 in their bowl appearances, which I think is very respectable. I don't know. Real quick, let's run through these. I'm just going to go to each of you, and I'm going to give you a game and just no commentary. Just give me a winner here. Let's see, Collin. Let's go with you. Alabama. Oh, we already asked Tina, and Tina said flip a coin. Alabama, Michigan, and you said who, Tina?
I never said.
She said not Notre Dame.
He hates both of them. They both need to lose.
She said not Notre Dame. Well, give me one.
Oh, you mean Alabama for Michigan? I gotta go with Alabama.
Okay, Tina's got Alabama in that one. Eric, let's go to you. South Carolina versus Illinois in the Citrus Bowl. Who you got?
South Carolina, but I really want Illinois just for Will Kramer.
See Illinois win that one.
Yeah.
All right, Collin, you get the Corn Dogs versus Baylor.
Corn Dog, Nebraska. Who are you talking about?
LSU.
Oh, come on. Let's go with LSU.
All right. I'm gonna go with Texas in a close one over Arizona State. And I mean a very close one because they both have I said no commentary. Okay. We're gonna give our predictions for the Georgia Notre Dame game when we go through that commentary. And Tina, back to you. Ole Miss versus Duke.
That one would be a coin toss because I literally don't know, but I'll go with Duke because I root for them again in basketball.
All right, well, folks, there you have it. That's what we got. That's our bowl recap wrap up, and we are going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and get into the meat and potatoes of why we're really here. Y'all know why we here. I ain't even gonna play like you know what I'm saying? There's no need in even playing or pretending why we're here. We're here to talk about that game, the Georgia game, versus that guy, our team versus that guy right there. So y'all stay tuned. We will be right back. So where the hell did it go? There it is. So don't go far. Hang on. And we're back. I hope you guys missed us. It is this week in UGA football. I am Mr. Fingaz and my co-host here, Collin P from the DMV, welcoming our wonderful guest, Miss Atina Winter of in a remix. Let's talk football, the roundtable, and the Mile High Minute. And our good buddy Eric Kelly, who should be showing up on a show somewhere pretty soon, I think, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yes, no, yes. We'll see. He's like, could be, not giving away all the industry secrets yet. We just got done talking about the bowl games and the SEC record. So let's get right into the meat. And good Lord, wow, my mouse is just doing things it's not supposed to do. I'll take things you don't want to hear on the first date for $200, Alex. We're here to talk about Notre Dame versus UGA in the Sugar Bowl. Sorry, Tina, didn't mean to hide your face. The graphics is just all over the place. Let's see if I can do something here. What can I do? Nope.
As someone who's also been on the producing side of it, I know how difficult that can be.
Oh wow. Let's see. No, I don't want y'all small faces. All these different. Here's the story of a lovely lady. My three sons.
Right. Hollywood Squares. Sorry.
Yes. Let's see here. Now let's just go back to where we had. Nope, that ain't working either. There we go. That's the best one. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, we do appreciate you tuning in. But we're here to talk about Sugar Bowl. Now we know the story. Georgia Dogs, Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. This is not a long-time rivalry, but it has definitely become a game. It has definitely become must-watch television over the course of the time that we first played in 1980, the 1981 Sugar Bowl at the conclusion of the 1980 season. Georgia won that game 17-10, although this news article says that was University of Georgia's first national championship. That is not true. They won their first national championship in the 1940s. So it would have been the second. Do your homework, whatever website this is that posted that. Oh, my God, this is the UGA Wire on USA Today. A segment specifically devoted to UGA football, and they got the history wrong. That's our second national championship. Thank you very much. Herschel Walker leading the charge with 150 yards on the ground. Incredible game. Then there was a home-and-home series. 2017. Eric, how did you feel about that game? The Dogs went to Indiana and painted the stadium red during the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. No, both games, the home and home, both hurt, but both were all right. Well, this is one of the top teams in the country. Georgia emerging at that point in time on your rise. And the fact that they hung in there, that gave hope for the future. But yeah, it's definitely a sad sight anytime you see the stadium takeovers where your season ticket holders are selling out to make a little bit of money.
Yeah, Georgia travels well, but a lot of the fans haven't seen gone to Notre Dame a game there. at the stadium, and I'd be shooting. We had a conversation offline there, and I'd love to go. And you said it's one of the most family friendly experiences, and so that it plays a part. But I mean, that's I'd have to go during the warmer months. I couldn't go when it was cold.
Oh, this is nothing. This is nothing.
I'll give you this, Anthony, just as a precursor to jumping into everything. A lot of the same fears that I had then are very similar to the ones that I have this year for this game. The matchup seems very similar in a lot of ways, but I'm sure as we dive into the breakdown. But those are two really good games, and you guys really set the bar for the standard of college football right now.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into those fears. What are your fears? What do you feel like sharing with us about your fears? And oh, by the way, just since we were mentioning the stadium takeover, Tennessee fans, that is how you do it. Just so you know, you go and you win. You don't make plans to tear it. You don't make plans to do nothing. Right. You just go, you win, and then you celebrate after.
There's our history. No plant flagging and stuff.
They were all rolled out during the first quarter, man. That was brutal seeing those Tennessee fans.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please, you said you had some fears.
Yeah, and if you don't, you're not being real. The same thing that's happened in big games. So the defense shows up. Will the offense show up? Is there a threat of the pass? If it's going to be a boxing match for 3 hours, is the offense going to break one or two loose? And that's always been the thing in games of this magnitude, especially playing against the team with a defense squad like your own. So I don't have any doubt that the defense will show up, but definitely some PTSD from the years of whether or not the offense is going to show in a marquee matchup like this.
Yeah. And for me as a Georgia fan, my biggest fear is Dr. Jekyll going to show up or is Mr. Hyde going to show up? Now, one thing I will give Georgia is Georgia has shown that they can fall behind, and somehow I don't know if the switch gets flipped or like the internet meme that says, "Oh, I understand it now," and then boom, now they're on it, which is kind of scary. But can you always depend on that to save you? Like we saw in the last two matchups with Alabama, Georgia launches a massive comeback, falls short. Couldn't even get the comeback started against Ole Miss. So that's one of my big fears. Can't really say it's a concern, but as far as I'll go ahead and say it. Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton came in and provided a spark, but how much of that is? My question is, how much of that is his raw talent? Yes, he was heavily recruited, but how much of that? But how much of that was also the veterans on the team going, okay, the Rook is going in. We need to circle the wagons around the Rook and give him all the support he can, because you notice that the defense ratcheted up. Arian Smith actually caught one or two passes. Arian hands of Stone Smith caught a couple of passes. So those are a couple of concerns for me. That's where I stand.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna comment there, Eric, as well. As like we've got some intangibles that that we're probably not necessarily overlooking, but I mean, we have a backup quarterback. He had a great first half. I mean, not much sample size to see what he's doing on the big stage. That's gonna be a huge thing for him. Being on the big stage like that, he's never been, and probably that in front of that many people. But
so you're just bringing PTSD back. There was this guy named Jacob Eason who was supposed to play, and then
but who replaced him? Jay Brown
kid came in, right?
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. It's like you don't know, but I mean, how about your defense, bro? I mean, you guys have some horses on the line. I mean, like it's going to be, and we don't have any, we don't have any like small guys either. But it's going to be a testament who can block who. and what kind of protection we can get. And, like I said before, Gunner, it's all about if he plays within himself. And, even Riley Leonard, I mean, we got to watch out for him too, because he's able to turn it up and, sling it and run too, so I think to be honest with you, I think it might be as evenly matched as it has been in years past. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, just to illustrate that point, the first matchup was a 7-point differential. The second matchup was a 1-point differential. The 2019 game, a 6-point differential. So you're talking 13. You're talking a differential of 14 points over the course of 3 games, which breaks down to just under 5 points a game. I mean, literally, if you break down the average, it's less than 1 score per game. And again, I think this was gonna be a close one. I think there's going to be a lot of ebb and flow in both directions. We'll get into prediction later, so I'm not gonna jump into that. But yeah, so that it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Moving forward here, let's talk about some things.
I have one comment. I don't have a lot of comment about this, but I gotta say it. So I really think, Eric, your biggest fear, or you should be thankful, the transfer portal is closed, so no NIU players could transfer to Georgia from their defense.
So let's address it, because you're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And I've said this to Sean. I've said this to Anthony. I've said this to everybody. Yeah, the NIU game was embarrassing, but this team is not at this point it is today without having lost that game.
Yeah.
So as much as it hurts,
yeah,
I can't go back and say I want it to change, because we're losing 2 or 3 other games had we not lost to NIU.
Look at Alabama. Look at Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. No, I mean, these games happen. Look at us. I mean, we lost. That's a rite of passage. Somebody's going to lose to Vanderbilt. I mean,
I'll take it from
it's well known that Marcus Freeman video all year round. Every week they were watching the clips of that game to remind them of.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to them about what can happen if you're not playing what you're supposed to be playing. And here's the flip side. NIU, I mean, we took that to mean like we were going to run through the MAC no problem. And we didn't. We ended up in the mids. So sometimes it is just that one game, that one day, who's on the field, what is the matchup, who's gotten a little extra juice in their Gatorade or whatever, that they got extra sleep, or who knows what they did the night before. And it just happened. So I'm giving you shit, but I mean, I do think without that NIU game, it could have been a different story for you. That was your wake up call. It was a very expensive wake up call, but
your coach handled everything with such class.
Yeah.
It's hard to have any ill will towards NIU. But that day sucked. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was. And I left you alone. Like, I was like sending things to Handy and Sean, and I'm like, I don't want to know. Like, we can't. Like, I literally thought we were going to lose that game. And that last half, the second half,
That's another example of we wanted Riley Leonard to throw the ball, and that's not what Riley Leonard was ready to do at that time. So it helped find the identity. So, but it definitely.
I was going to say Riley Leonard's got his rushing, he's got 135 carries for 750 yards. Riley Leonard has his rushing yard. That boy takes off.
That's impressive.
He's deceptively fast. He does not look fast when he's in the open field, but that long stride, he's quite the athlete.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a brief break here. We're going to come back and dissect this a little bit more, and then we're going to close this out. So you guys hang tight. We'll be right back with more this week in UGA football. Don't go far.
What's that coming down the track? What's that coming down the track? It's the mean machine in the red and black. It's the mean machine in the red and black. Nothing finer in the land. Nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Whoa!
ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric specifically requested that one for one of the commercial breaks. I can tell by the greening around the gills there. See what I did there? The green gills.
Greening around the gills.
Da-da-da-da. Oh wait, where's the rim shot? There we go. We're talking Sugar Bowl 2024 Sugar Bowl. Historic matchup. 40 some odd years, the fourth matchup between the Dogs and the Fighting Irish in the Sugar Bowl. Actually, you know what? What's the line on the game right now? Anybody know who's favored?
So I can't tell. Like it looks like it was. We might be us by one. I mean, I think ESPN is kind of. I don't know if that's right or not. They have us by one, then they have Notre Dame by one. So I mean, it's probably going to end up being. What do you think, Eric? Going to be like an even?
It started Notre Dame, but as time goes, it's going back to the
They still got your percentages. Y'all gonna win. That's what they said. Over 50%.
So what we're gonna talk about now, Eric? I want to know, who are we watching? Who are we keeping an eye on? We know about Riley Leonard, okay? Stud quarterback, possibly one of the best quarterbacks you guys have had in quite some time, and you've had some really good quarterbacks. You did have some that came in highly touted, but Riley Leonard, I've been impressed with Riley Leonard's performance this season. Determination, especially after, not to beat a dead horse, but the game that we've referenced a few times before. Tina's gonna shout, "Isn't that you, duck on it?" And we won. Ha ha ha! Dude, she called me laughing about that game, and I about pissed myself. I laughed so hard because I had never seen Tina so maniacal over anything ever. But I digress. Riley Leonard, very good quarterback. So who else should we look out? Who else who you want people to keep an eye out for in their performance in this game?
Yeah. You're crazy if you don't already have Jeremiah Love circled. That is a human highlight reel. If you can't bottle him up, it's going to be a long day. When he comes out, Jadarian Price, there's another home run threat for you. Offensively, you're really hoping that those two backs and Riley Leonard are able to make a little bit of a dig into that Georgia defense and break one, occasionally. Offensively, pass threat wise, I'm not going to give you too much to worry about, man. Hopefully it's just consistent and it's enough to keep you honest. I'm not going to lie to you or blow smoke. I love Riley Leonard. He's doing great for what he does, but he has not proven that he's going to beat anybody deep. So offensively, this semi-wing T type of thing that we're running right now. But Jeremiah Love is the key to it, breaking loose, similar to it has in these other games, whether you go Indiana or the highlight reel. I mean, almost every game he breaks a 60-yarder somewhere, and that's not an exaggeration if you go look through those game logs. Defensively, it's everywhere. So we lost Ben Morrison, one of the best corners. He's gone, but we've had two true freshmen step up, freshman All-American. Defensive line, we're depleted. Injuries. So that's a cause of concern. But Xavier Watts, I don't care about your boy Starks. He ain't got nothing on Xavier Watts. Xavier Watts is a dude. And if he has a big game, you're in trouble. Hey, don't give me that look.
No. You said Xavier Watts is a dude. Like there was it had been called in the question.
All right. No. I'm just trying to give you a hard time, man. We've been so nice to each other.
You said Xavier Watts. Stay with me here for a second. You said Xavier Watts is a dude. Like it was called in the question. Like it was like Juwan man. Like it's like this chick, like Mulan. You know what I mean? It's like Xavier Watts is a dude. Like I thought he was a dude.
I thought you guys appreciated Pollock.
What's that?
I mean, I thought you appreciated Pollock. All he does is say, "This dude's a dude. That's a dude."
So he's the dude. The dude behind the dude, beside the dude, right?
Yeah. Isn't that what Pollock is all about here? We got some Georgia fans.
I love the fact that the term ex-player is a dog. Like, and I'm like, I thought he played for South Carolina. That would make him a Gamecock. And it took about a year of hearing that for me to realize they were like paying someone a compliment. Like, oh, okay, I follow you now. I was having some difficulty keeping up with my LMOP, but now caught up.
You're good,
but so Eric, you're saying that Starks is not going to be able to cover your boy?
Oh, he'll be able to cover anybody. I just told you that we can't throw on you.
Okay, well, I thought you said Starks. I don't care about Malachi Starks. My bad. I misunderstood. That's a good matchup on the side.
Level here, man.
I got you.
There's another level. Starks is a great player, but Xavier Watts is we've had a lot of good special safeties. The best safety in the NFL right now. Yeah. He is a Notre Dame alum, and he didn't have the career at Notre Dame that Xavier Watts is having. So just saying, he's a special player. He was Defensive Player of the Year in college football last year, and he's been just as much of a ball hawk this year.
I don't know about you, man. I like to watch the battles on the side. Battles between the hashes. With the receivers and stuff. What do you think the game plan for you guys is going to be more like? What you alluded to earlier, like maybe Riley not passing as much, or maybe Jeremiah getting the bulk of the work, or you think he's going to be some dump offs here and there, kind of like what we do. We kind of
It's heavy screen game in the pass. So you'll see a good chunk of wide receiver screens. Faison get involved. Love and Price, but if you don't let the door open, then it's got to change. Kirby's not going to let them run the ball down their throat. Now, if it happens, that's because you broke one or two free. But I don't see like a plotting kind of situation happening. It's going to have to break one or two. So the game plan, you got to be true to who you are and what you do well. If Riley Leonard needs to run the ball 47 times, he needs to run the ball 47 times. You guys are going to dictate to a large degree what the offense needs to do on Wednesday night.
I'm just hoping we got the corners covered because Anthony, we're kind of tough on around the corners. Our defense can have the line on them dead to rights and that back corners and stuff.
Well, one of the most frustrating things about for me the University of Georgia defense is that when they are clicking on all cylinders like they did against Texas, nobody's getting around them. But you have those games where Malachi is lost in the sauce, or somebody just gets caught sleeping. They just gets caught napping at the wheel. I'll go ahead and give my player to look out for on defense. Dirty Dan Jackson. That guy is a monster. For real. His engine has one speed, two speeds, go hard and go faster. That's it.
He's everywhere.
And if you see him coming towards you with a full head of steam, just go ahead and do a mental evaluation and make sure that all of your life insurance policies and everything are paid up, because he's going to knock your soul from your body. Hands down, he's going to make you wish that you Bill Cosby, for what you may think about him in his proclivities, did a whole bit about how he played ball at Temple, and the quarterback told him in the huddle, Cosby up the middle. He's like, why? He never gave the ball to me before. And then he handed the ball to me, and I saw the guard pulling, and I realized why. It was 6'7", 375 pounds with no pads, just a helmet and his name, David. Like that's the reaction you get when you see Dan Jackson coming. Anyway, that's the guy to look out. That's my guy to look out for on defense. Offensively, what's our guy's name, Collin, that caught that pass, the ballerina pass on the sidelines in the SEC championship?
No, Delp, man.
Oscar Delp.
Yeah.
He's definitely had to come up. 2 games into the season, we were saying this guy's on a milk carton. In the last 2 or 3 games, he's come up with some big plays and crucial moments. And I'm loving every minute of it. Brock Bowers left some really big shoes to fill but he's and it'll be a long time before Georgia sees another tight end of the likes of him, I think. But this guy has, as the games have become more crucial, has stepped up. Speaking of sidebar, shouts out to our guy Brock Bowers to break the NFL record for number of receiving yards by a tight end in their rookie season, previously held by the one, the only Mike Ditka, NFL standout and coach of the '85 Bears. And didn't our guy Collin, didn't
McConkey got a record too.
Lab McConkey got a franchise record or something like that the other day, didn't he?
Sure. Yep.
Okay, so those guys are doing big things.
Rookie.
Anyway,
I got a question for you.
those are my two guys to look out for.
Question for you.
Yep.
Brock Bowers, legend. Going to be an NFL Hall of Famer at the tight end position.
100%.
When is he going to adopt our hairline?
It's going to take him a while. He's a California boy. You know, they don't really do bald heads out there unless, of course, the skin's about my complexion.
Now, he may be for California, but have you heard him talk? I guess 4 years at Georgia, he has got more of about as much twang as I do. You got to hear him do an interview.
He's gotten pretty close.
We tried hard to get him to come play defensive end. He was a freak. Just a freak of nature.
And you know what I mean? You're talking about Delp and Lawson Lucky. I mean, like it's taking those two guys to maybe feel, his right shoe. But at the same point, they're doing a damn good job of it. I mean, they're actually playing very well at the end of the season. Towards the end of the season, they're breaking out. And you talk about Delp. Delp actually, I think he's rooming with Gunner. I think he's been rooming with Gunner or something like that. Gunner and him have a really good relationship. So I think that's why that fuse was lit. He was happy to see Gunner get the chance and that kind of stuff, and making that catch and them. So, I'm happy for them all. I mean, Gunner get the chance.
Yeah. So, Collin, who do you have as a person to look out for in this game? Like, I gave one on offense and one on defense, so I think it's only fair I let you drop a couple as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple on. I mean, since you mentioned Dirty Dan, I'll say C.J. Allen. I mean, and I'll Jalen Walker. I'll put on two there. But I'll say on offense, looking out for offense. See, ETN is playing, so I mean, I think he's gonna have a well of a game. But I got to shout out my boy Cash Jones.
I've been waiting all year. I just wait for the Cash Jones.
That's right, man. Dude, he's my boy. He's very good.
I think you know what it is. I think somehow or another that Mike Jones song got stuck in your head from back in the day, and now every time Cash touched the ball, you like Cash Jones.
Ooh, that's right. One grain gripping, baby. Come on. But no, I mean you can't. How can you not like him? He's got that stash. He's a big dude. He's like 6'1". I mean, swagger. Should be from South Carolina.
Any pass the televangelist?
No, not Jimmy. Not Jimmy. Not Swagger. Not Swagger.
Clean those bad boys out. I thought you said. I was like, what? He's just gonna take his coat off take his blazer off and wave him at the defenders like Benny Hinn, and they're just gonna fall out.
Put your head through the screen. Let me heal you real quick.
Now, my brother, I know that everything within you is telling you, and all of your training is telling you that you have to tackle me. But I serve a God that is mightier than your defense, and I am going to part the waters like the Red Sea, as my dear colleague Reverend Red and Black likes to talk about all the time. And I shall pass through to the other side victorious. Don't ask me why I did that.
I used to sing it every Sunday until noon growing up.
You're missing.
Didn't matter where you were at, there was going to be a preacher on the TV every Sunday morning.
God, all day. Look, the PTO club, Jimmy Swaggart, Rex, was it Rex Humboldt?
Who was that? Tammy Faye, right? Tammy Faye.
Tammy Faye was Jim.
We didn't get them up by me, luckily.
And then there was the guy that had the Crystal Cathedral out in California.
Oh yeah. Oh, what was his name?
Robert something or other.
Yeah.
Robert Schuler, I think his name was. I still remember the ad for coming on television. It would start with him in the pulpit going, "Don't just sit there. Do something." Anyway, sidetrack, sidebar. So I guess this is the time where we need to go around and come up with some game picks. Tina, you got anything you want to you got any little pepper you want to add on to this before we move into the game predictions?
No, I'm all out of pepper.
You lie. I know you keep pepper. You told me you like pepper.
Okay, there's so many ways someone could take that comment.
That was not what I meant. We all no, we're not doing that this evening, Miss Winter. You and
I
I
do like
always
things spicy. I do tend to
Like
add
the
some spice
meatball.
to my commentary once in a while.
like the running joke between Tina and I is every time we are in the green room before the show comes on, I'm eating and she's eating. And that's like, what did you get? And it's got this and it's spicy and I like it. And you the one tonight, Miss Ma'am. So I'm gonna look at you and go, wow, really? I'm gonna give you one of those. Give you one of those.
I've never been on the show before. I need to be good. I need to settle it down a little bit. No,
I heart your face. I'm giving you a hard time. No restrictions.
no, I know. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Anything to say anymore? Nah, no.
yeah.
Can I just give one quick stat from the NIU bowl game that I think is hilarious as shit?
Please, Bob.
What was his name? God, they put a freshman out. His name is Holst. He threw an interception in his first scrimmage in the bowl game, and then he turned around and caught the 2-point conversion in overtime to win the game for NIU. How is that? To go from throwing the interception, and it was only his third game starting in college. He throws an interception, and then he catches the 2-point conversion from his wide receiver to go up 28-20, and then the defense took over. So I thought that was just an interesting little stat. And Eric, you talked earlier about the coach at NIU. I think he's one of the best. He is always very concise, very good, doesn't let a lot of things get to him. And the fact that did you guys see they dumped an entire thing of, normally it's Gatorade. They dumped fries on him. The girl on the sideline is like picking French fries out of his hoodie.
That's a waste of food.
I'm trying to think, he had some pretty funny comments.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to remember what he said, but
he's always good for a comment or two. So yeah, it was an interesting game. So all right, but I just thought that was funny. You throw an interception and then you catch the ball to win the game. All right.
Indeed. This is going to be one of these things that, as we age, if we are blessed enough to get another 3 decades and we're all still palling around together, Tina's going to go, that reminds me of French fries on the sideline. It does. He threw an interception and he caught the game-winning conversion. I remember it like it was yesterday. And then you're gonna do the puka puka dance.
Oh yeah, the puka puka dance.
Oh man.
Okay.
Eric, just so you know, Tina and I on our Tuesday night show, we have this running gag where one of us is going to, whether on purpose or inadvertently,
we'd like to see who cracks first.
Make the other one crack up. Pretty much.
Good chemistry, good rapport going on here. I appreciate it.
I think I still win with the baghead and the signs.
Yeah, you did, but I think the puka dance is a close second. Just go on Sean's webpage. It's a thing in there. And,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. You can't. It was a bit.
And as I sang.
So game predictions. Moving on, we're gonna do game predictions here. Honestly, I will say this. I'm not even going to throw a score out there because I know these two teams are going to go. And the thing I love most about it is, even though this started 43 years ago in the same location, these two teams going to have just as much fire for each other as if they just played earlier this season or last year. And that's one thing I love about this game. It's just as intense as on a year when Bama and Auburn are both good, or on a year when Georgia and Florida are both pow pow pow. But this has been consistent, and this is what I'm looking for this year. I do want to say I think Georgia wins in a close one. Like I said, I think it's going to be a one-score game. It may even come down to a last-minute score. Like, that one actually went into overtime. The conference championship. I think it'll be be right at the end of the game. But I think at the end of that game, outside of whatever way it goes, outside of having not won the game, I don't think either team will have anything to hang their head over. As far as overall performance, there may be a oops here or there that needs some tweaking in the future, but I don't think either team's going to have anything to hang their head on. But I mean, I've got full faith in the Dogs. And Kirby Smart is a master tactician, and I mean a master tactician. Even better. I mean, Nick Saban's whole thing was, I beat the hell out of my guys every week so they get on the field and beat the hell out of your guys. Kirby's thing is psyops. Kirby's a master at psyops. So anyway, I got Georgia in a close one. I don't even think I don't even know what the over under is. I don't think this is going to be like high scoring either. I think it's going to be in the 20s.
I just looked. They said Georgia losing by 1.5.
What's the over under?
45, I think.
Yeah, so that means neither team's going to get out of the 20s, and that's about where I'm putting it. So that's what I got. Let's just go left to right. Well, actually, Collin, we'll go to Eric, and then we'll come back to you. Eric, what you got, sir?
You play to win the game, right? So it would be dishonest for me not to have formulated a way in my own head that we're going to find a way to win the game. You both know that I think Georgia is the standard. I want to say a month ago, I said I want Georgia, not because I'm a Texas fan saying I want Georgia. I want Georgia because I want to find out if we're good or not. My Kirby Smart, he scares me with this much time to prepare. That really does put it in you. Like, what's going on here? This guy's had 3-4 weeks now. The concerns I have on offense, you certainly know that he has scouted those out to the 10th degree. But there's something about Marcus Freeman, man. I just believe in this guy, and I believe they're going to come out and fight for him. And to Anthony's point, things may not go perfectly, but I think both teams are going to leave it all out on the field. So effort won't be a problem there. So Riley Leonard with the late touchdown run. Let's go 17-13.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Mr. Collin P.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less, man. Eric, I would have been very disappointed if you'd have picked Georgia over over Notre Dame. Got to pick the home team, man. I'm gonna pick Georgia as well, but I mean, like Anthony said, I mean, this is kind of a different matchup, and it has been over the years between Notre Dame and Georgia. I mean, it just kind of feels different. But I mean, when we play each other, it's always kind of even though there's been a 6-point or 7-point differential, it's a hard fought game, and each team had been there. Everybody has actually run the ball and kind of played not as clean as they could, but I mean, found a way to gain yards, and it was a good game. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Gunner, and like you said, about 3 weeks of preparation. That's huge. That's huge for Kirby. That's huge for the team. That's huge for practices. That's huge for Gunner having that long time. To have him getting thrown in, say, after a week, that would have been a different kind of situation altogether. But I'm excited to see what Gunner can do, because I mean, it seems the team rallies around him, or at least they did. But no disrespect to Beck, but I mean, I expected a good game. I mean, I think it's going to be smash mouth, and I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm picking Georgia. I think they're going to blow that runner out of the water, though. I think they're going to probably score about 50 points total.
Doesn't it just scream that when we're all sitting here going, it's going to be low scoring? It always turns out that those are the ones.
Yeah, it's going to be like even you saying that Riley Leonard, isn't prone, or maybe Notre Dame's not prone to passing that much. I think it may end up, at least for a little while, maybe a couple minutes, if not a quarter, is going to turn into a shootout. So, I mean, I think they'll be slinging it first. I think Notre Dame's going to come out swinging first. First couple series, I think they're going to throw the ball.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, Miss Tina.
Yes.
What you got? Who you got in this one?
I flipped a coin.
Oh, don't do that to me. You can't go at me all day and then flip a coin on it. There's only one way you can pick this game.
Hold on. But the coin was in your face. I'm going Notre Dame. I have to. I mean, one of those. I just kind of have to go. I want to see, like you talked about earlier, the game we played was a game that has given you guys some drive and something to work with, and where you had to fix things, and let's see where you take it. And I'm also tired of the SEC winning everything. So
we're not.
Well, I know you're not because you're
something about it. I'm just kidding.
If
Notre Dame.
If we win it all, I will petition for Marcus to give your coach a ring.
Okay.
Hey, Eric, you were talking about Georgia being the standard, and to be the best, you got to play the best. I mean, that's how I felt towards Alabama. I've been wanting for you, as Anthony, I've been wanting them to be regular scheduled, like regular season matchups. Instead of playing them once every 2 or 3, 4 years, whatever. But
we got a home and home, which means they'll be in Athens next fall. Like basically the way that the schedule is set up is everybody we played this season in conference play, we're playing again. We're just flipping the home and home. So we'll play that we played in Tuscaloosa. They're coming to Athens. We'll be in Neyland next year. Kentucky's coming to Athens, that kind of thing. Mississippi State is coming to Sanford. We'll have more home games because of the home and home flip this season.
Yeah, Texas is going to have the same bottom tier SEC that they played this year.
Yeah, well, I don't really have a whole heck of a lot to say about that. Well, I think that will definitely shake itself out. I guarantee you right now, after all of the scuttlebutt, the powers that be that put the schedules together, which is probably more than likely the athletic directors and the coaches, I guess, will be definitely putting some stuff together to make sure they have a tougher schedule in 2026. So, all right. Well, those are our predictions. The panel is split 50-50. 50-50 Collin and I going with Georgia. Eric and Tina on a coin flip. Tina going for Notre Dame, or maybe quite possibly just because she's sick of the SEC winning it all. But either way, our panel is split. Well, we've gone through all of that, and before we go, we're getting pretty close, and we're looking at the clock, and it looks like it is time for the 2-minute timeout. Which still says a 2-minute warning because, yeah, I haven't changed it yet. So deal with it. I want to, first of all, Eric and Tina, I want to thank you both for being a part of the show this evening. Eric is an avid. How did you know what I have to ask the question. How did you get drawn into this crazy group of ours?
Sean
Spencer and I worked together for
Shocker.
Him, Will Kramer and I, we worked back in Herndon at the good old YMCA. We worked together for quite a few years. So.
Oh man, I know exactly where that is.
Yep.
I am not a Virginia native, but I lived in the Northern Virginia side of the DMV for 18 years.
So Sean, a very good friend for a very long time. So He likes talking ball. For some reason, he lets me talk, even though I've got some absurd opinions. So I appreciate the
Wait a
platform.
minute. Wait a minute. Does this lead to some very energetic discussions?
Oh no. Sean's supportive of me, man. He knows I'm crazy. So he embraces me and still loves me nonetheless.
He's an enabler, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being a part of the show. We haven't done this segment in a while, but since this is going to be more than likely our last show for 2024, we did want to include the 2-minute warning, which is generally where we come up with a little something, sometimes funny, sometimes inspirational. So why don't you give us a little something for our 2-minute warning?
Oh, are you Collin? Me? I'll give you.
No, Eric, it's all you, sir.
Hey, so I'll give you this. This is the first big game I haven't felt like the normal nerves or typical fear about because, hey man, we lost to NIU. We're not supposed to even be in the playoffs. So, hey man, this is good. This is fun, and it doesn't matter what the spreads say, anything like that. You listen to the commentary out there; it's the same old talk. So. I feel like the pressure is for once more on the other side, and I think it's kind of a fun way to look at it. For once, is we're not supposed to be here, so let's make the most of it. So there's my 2-minute warning right there.
All right, all right, thank you, Eric. Appreciate you, Miss Tina.
Yes. I want to thank all you Southerners letting this Yankee lady come on and talk football with you. I appreciate it. I too did not think my team was going to be playing in a bowl game, but we won our last game, so we ended up playing a team that went into double overtime at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I love that name. That and got to play on the big blue Boise State field. So I mean, football's love. It really is. It's a tough form of love sometimes because we may not agree with each other all the time, and we all got crazy opinions. And Handy's heard quite a few of mine. He's also heard my rants. So it's just a lot of fun, and I love this group. And again, thank you for letting me come on, guys. Though, like I said earlier, SEC needs to stop winning everything.
Hey, now, come on, that's not nice.
One of my favorite running backs is a Georgia Bulldog. So,
who's your favorite? Who's one of your favorite running backs?
Who else? You can put it together. Mr. TD himself.
Terrell.
Terrell Davis.
Oh.
I know she's gonna pull out a No Sean Moreno or something like that.
You got a little touch. Are you fanning yourself?
What? No Sean. I love No Sean from the crying. The meme of him crying and everything. That's a great meme. He's now doing a show with one of the defensive guy that I cannot put his name together right now. He's turning into an interesting little podcaster. He's got some opinions. So if you are a fan of Georgia football and you like seeing the guys that have played football that are now doing podcasts, check it out. It's on DNVR. Check him out. He's an interesting little character. I do like Moreno, but no, it's TD all the way. That little migraine boy. I love him.
All right, Mr. Collin P, you on deck, sir. What you got for us?
Well, going to like Eric's point about, it's I mean, it's kind of a different kind of a swap here because now Georgia hasn't, for 40 years, we all heard the story. Now we kind of set the precedents or whatever, and we're kind of sort of supposed to be in this situation. I don't know how we got there. It's kind of the Alabama kind of side of things. You're supposed to win. You're not supposed to lose, this, that, and other thing. And, it seems to be that way. But, hey, it's And like Tina said, I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I hate that it seems to go by so quickly. Like in August, and all of a sudden we're at the end of it, and then make a bowl game. That's awesome, and to get as far as we have is even more special. But again, like Tina said, also we're all fans of different teams, and and Eric, I've been enjoying getting going back and forth with you. I don't know, I don't know about you, man, but yeah, we in this group chat or whatever. But that's what I think it's all about. Just going through all. But don't take it too far. Don't get too serious because ain't nobody paying you for it. Ain't nobody. You're just a fan. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the banter and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys had a decent 2024 and an even better 2025 on the horizon. So, and I'm also thankful to have you guys. So,
yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I guess I got the microphone now. Pass the mic before the mic goes stale. I don't drink Coke. I like ginger ale, but the ginger ale don't come in a red bottle. So I can't think of nothing that rhyme with bottle but throttle. But when Georgia hits the throttle, they go. Let me stop, because I could do that all day and just for whatever reason. And after a while, I'm gonna stop rhyming and just start beatboxing. But first of all, I want to thank everybody that has taken the time out to watch this show. We hit a little growth bump at the end of the year. This year, we started getting more viewers. Our last show, the last show that we did, episode 17, was the most watched of any of our episodes. We didn't quite break 50 viewers, but that's the most viewers that we've gotten of any show. Much appreciated. We're starting to see more subscribers jump on the channel, so much appreciated as well. And thank you guys for just sharing a part of. Collin and I have been friends I met Collin right before I met my wife, maybe a year or so before I met my wife. And we've known each other for about 15, 16 years. We, watched each other's kids grow up. Mine are grown and out of the house, and his is forming his own identity and becoming a little person, which Collin may be looking forward to. Can it be football season, man? So I come on here and let off some steam before I kill this boy. Yeah, been there. So we appreciate you for that. 2024 was a 2024 was a test of my intestinal fortitude this year. I did lose a parent this year. Prior to that, during the middle of football season last year, lost the father-in-law. We just lost another somebody close to the family earlier this week, and the funeral was this weekend. Job change. There's been a lot of things that have happened this year, and you all have been right here and been a part of it, and the support, and my homie right here, Collin, that lovely young lady too. As I'm looking at the screen to the right of Collin, many a long conversation. Hey, you got time to talk? I just need to vent, or sending messages back and forth, or sending each other jokes back and forth. And so I just wanted to take the time to say that I appreciate Collin, Tina. I appreciate you. Eric, I haven't known you very long, sir, but I appreciate you for taking a goodly amount of time. Collin, you called it. Never do it. An hour 34 right now. Hour 35. I appreciate you all for taking time out of your Monday to come and join us. And we appreciate you all, the fans. I say fans like people be screaming when I get to the gas station. Oh my God, it's that guy from the football podcast.
I got
you're famous at My Buddies.
Oh yeah,
buddy. I'm sorry.
My God, I forgot about that just that quickly. So, Eric, Tina, and then my other co-host Nick, Delilah, all live in Chicago. Sean
was in town for his birthday.
Sean was in town for his birthday. I forgot. How did I come up?
Nick talked to you, and you sent in a video.
Oh, that's right.
And My Buddies does karaoke, and when they brought him in, they thought he was like some famous ex-football player because he had on like his workout outfit and everything, and he came on in his deep voice, and then people are like, "Who's he?"
So that's our running bit. When I get to Chicago, I'm gonna be like all Georged out and maybe have on a little bit of bling or whatever. They're gonna make this whole fuss and be like, "Oh, that's that dude! Hey, yo, hey, I thought I recognized you." So we'll see what it. But
Just
I
bring your Uncle Shay Shay. They're not going to know the difference in Chicago.
Oh no, Shannon's.
As you can see, Eric, I can be an instigator.
Look, listen, Tina Winter. We not gonna do this today. We not gonna do this today. It's not two something yet. And I don't have my Shea by La Portier or my roast box with me. So we're not doing none of that today at all. I'm gonna have to go call Ocho and tell him that we're gonna have to get on. We're gonna have to go on early because we can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Anyway, I appreciate you and the thing, Eric. The voices in my head comes out as impersonations. Some of them are really good. Some of them are very bad. But at the end of the day,
the Shannon one I thought was pretty on point, man.
But at the end of the day, you got to be true to your inner pimp. Is all I have to say about it.
His cat is even better.
But I appreciate you guys because for everything. And I'm actually getting kind of sad myself because it's going to be coming to an end here in a few weeks. But we'll find something to do. We'll find something to do to keep the spark going. And eventually I will make my way to Chicago in a world where a non-famous guy goes to Chicago and pretends to be famous. That's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to stop now because I'll do about 8 more impersonations and this video will be 2 hours long. So having said all of that, we want to thank you, the viewers, for sticking and hanging out with us tonight. We're going to be doing the round. Well, we'll talk about that. I need you to hang out after we go off. I know you'd like to bop out, but I got a couple of questions to ask you. Collin, my man, as always, 15, 16 years strong. Ride or die. Appreciate you. And we appreciate each and every one of you. So, having said all of that, come Tuesday night, who will advance into the next round of the CFP? Will it be the Dogs of the University of Georgia, or will it be the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame? We will find out soon. But until then, you guys stay cool. Stay cool. That sounded so dumb. That's the stuff you wrote in people's yearbooks in middle school. You all be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Okay, that's Jerry Springer. Listen, you guys have a safe and happy 2020 into your 2024. We will see you again soon. We'll be back on next week, win, lose, or draw. On behalf of myself, my co-host Collin, Tina, and Eric, this has been This Week in UGA Football, and we will see y'all again soon. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.